Hi everybody, my name is Shamash Aladina. I'm author of Mindfulness for Dummies. Welcome to my channel. And if you're new to this channel, then just letting you know that we share content every week around mindfulness, compassion, wisdom, and also acceptance and commitment training. So if you want more videos around these topics, then please hit subscribe below. So today's video is going to be called Reframing Your Language Around Coronavirus. Now, I've noticed that a lot of people have this sense of aversion to the word coronavirus and some of the other languages around it. And I'm going to be talking about three specific elements of it and ways that you can reframe it, especially words like social distancing and isolation and the word coronavirus itself. So first of all, let's start with social distancing. And even the World Health Organization has said, rather than using the word social distancing, start using the word physical distancing, because of socializing is really important. And a few hundred years ago, if this had happened to us, we wouldn't have the technology available to us to be able to communicate with friends and family all over the world. But fortunately, we do have that technology. And so we can relate to people. And what Professor Paul Gilbert, who's one of the world experts in compassion, told us last week, is that rather than talking about social distancing, he calls it safe relating. So relationships and relating to people is really important. And using the word safety can be quite a soothing word for people. So whenever you hear the word social distancing, think actually, no, I'm not social distancing. I'm practicing safe relating, and I'm going to continue to relate to others and myself in a safe way, which in the moment in the UK, it's different in different parts of the world, I guess, how you practice that. So that's the first thing. Let's use the word safe relating. Second tip is people are using the word isolation. And I like this idea or this concept of, isolation, again, is very kind of a sense of closing down, of being away from people physically, and in a sense of isolation it's got a lot of negative connotations linked to it too. So what about if you reframed it in a different way? So think about what words you could use. You could call it me time, you could call it connecting with myself. And I like this theory that one of my teachers, Ajahn Brahma, said in the past, is that you're actually never alone because you're always with yourself. So even when you are on your own, that sense of being isolated from others physically and even socially, there's also that sense of you being with yourself, and you can communicate to yourself and talk to yourself and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm fine. That kind of connection. So there's some relationship going on even when you're with yourself. So turning isolation into me time or something similar could be a good one. So the second tip. And the third one's a bit more unusual. And so it's around the word coronavirus or the word COVID-19. Now, as soon as I say those words, notice what effect it has. There may be some emotional reaction coming up from you, some fears and anxieties. And I'm going to share with you quite a clever tip to help you to step back from that. So if you have a negative reaction to a word, which is ultimately a sound, what we tend to do is we avoid it. So we try to avoid looking at that word. We try to avoid thinking about it. But that very avoidance means that you're actually giving it an attention, and then there's like a fear around it. So what studies in acceptance and commitment training have found is actually to relate to that in a different way. And there's different techniques. But one funny one that you could do for coronavirus is to actually just repeat it. If you repeat it very quickly, let's say 30 times, and they do say around 30 seconds is good, the word and its meaning kind of get diffused from each other, they get disconnected. So when you hear the word, it doesn't have that difficult emotional impact it would have had initially. So we can just try a little one right now. So if the word is coronavirus, you can try it with me, and or you could just watch me doing it. But if you try it, it just takes 30 seconds, and it's a good little experiment, and see if it works for you. So for coronavirus, 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 coronavirus. As you can see, it may have made you laugh, and coronavirus turned into crevasse, 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 crevasse. And now, if I think of the word coronavirus, it reminds me of the crevasse thing, and it doesn't have so much of an emotional tone. So if you didn't try it right now, maybe try it later, and just think about when you hear that word, or COVID-19 or virus or those kinds of words, notice if it has a strong emotional impact or any kind of feeling in you, and then do this 30-second exercise. And they found it worked for many other words too, because if we create these connections between sounds and pictures in our head and emotional reactions, and so this is one way of doing that. So there's the 3 tips: changing social distancing to safe relating, changing isolation to me time or connecting with myself or connecting with others perhaps as well, and using diffusion techniques, which is a technique that comes from acceptance and commitment training, which I offer courses in. And that's a way of disconnecting the meaning from the thought. So I hope you found those helpful. As I say, if you liked the video, please hit like. If you disliked it, hit dislike twice. And please subscribe and share with your friends too. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you again next week. Bye for now.